with us a little bit about what the sheriff's department is seeing out there and what we need to know. Yes, sir.
Make yourself known.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Good evening. I have passed out already some information for you for your reading later on. I'm not going to bore you with reading the information or anything. One of them is from the CDC, and the CDC it specifically talks about risks and some things that they're seeing with youth and the teenagers and stuff. And particularly finding it interesting that they're talking about statistics of, 8th, 9th, 10th, on up to 12th grade, still having alcohol, marijuana, and other stuff. Now we're seeing a lot of the vaping and dabbing and all of that, and it's not just those things that come in there. They're taking that out and putting THC or something else in there, and that's why I gave you this second that talks about severe lung among, and you can see it specifically talks about the age range of 14 to 68, and some of the cases that they've seen with respiratory problems and everything. And then on the back of that page, it specifically talks about e-cigarettes about halfway down. E-cigarettes, vaping devices, not safe, obviously. But it talks about some of the things in the next paragraph, the illnesses that they are seeing. And I specifically talked with Lieutenant Anthony today, and they had a student today who was having some breathing issues, heart racing and all that, with a blood pressure of 130 over 100 and something, with a heart rate of 119. Now, I don't know for sure, but I would speculate that something had to be going on with that student other than they're sick from a cold or whatever else. There had to be some other underlying thing. And if you read this, and I'm not saying that those two things are related, but that is also some of the things that they're talking about with the respiratory issues and things. And we've had that in the school system and had some health emergencies and stuff. Not many this year, but in previous years we've had that. And the lower campuses, specifically what I used to call upper elementary, but middle school and those things, you see they have the vaping and dabbing and those kinds of issues over there. And then you get to high school and they have a lot of different stuff that they deal with from time to time. I don't think they have seen a lot this year, which is good, because that means that some enforcement is taking effect and they're starting to learn, don't do that here. But they have in the past. And then if you start looking at other information nationally, you start seeing where it happens a lot in other places and stuff. Some of the edible things that they have opportunities to get, they can make it into gummies, they make it into stuff that looks like cereal, potato chips, Doritos, I mean just all kinds of stuff. They make these things and they put some form of THC in there, and these kids are ingesting that. And from what I've read and studied is, when they take these things, they don't realize that, okay, you took one, they don't give it time to take an effect, and then they're taking another one, and then all of a sudden everything starts spiking, because now it is taking effect and you've got 2 or 3 doses, whereas the first one probably would have been plenty for them, but then they take more on top of that. So yeah, things like the convenience stores and things like that, the drug enforcement unit, they try to go out and hit these stores and see what they're selling, see what it is that they have on the shelves that are available to be bought, and make sure that it's not something that they shouldn't be selling that's against the law for them to sell and everything. So they do go out and do that. They do several sting operations, if you will, where they go and check, make sure they're not doing that along with selling to minors for alcohol and stuff like that. So, as a whole, there's an awful lot of information, and as I said, I'm not gonna read all that to you, but I printed it off for you so that you could have it, and there's some links in there to some other stuff if that's something that you wanted to explore more in spare time. Everybody's got plenty of that, right? So, what questions might the board have?
Any questions, Mr. Earl?
What I have seen is people buying e-cigarettes for younger children, and they show up at school.
Yes, ma'am. Well, when I was in school, there were some other kids, not me, but there were some other kids who would get people to buy cigarettes and alcohol and stuff like that for them. It's much of the same now, it's just a different form. I mean, you still have the people kids trying to get alcohol and stuff like that. That's just gonna happen, but they are getting people to get stuff for them, so that they're not buying it because they can't. And then they get that, and instead of buying something from the store that has gone through approval process to be sold, and they come around and get something off another market and put it in there, and then that causes more harm for them in their bodies because they don't know when to stop.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you for the presentation, but more importantly, thank you for the work that y'all are doing every day to keep us all safe.
We appreciate the support.
Yes, thank you. Dr. Miller, I believe we have one other presentation on the agenda.
Yes, sir. October is National Principal Month, and John Maxwell says everything rises and falls on leadership, and the research is clear that a strong principal in a school can have a tremendous impact on that school, in particular the students' success. So all of us can probably think back to men and women who were our principals and had an influence on us when we were growing up and made a difference. And we are blessed with 10 excellent leaders who work hard to provide the best possible learning environment for students and staff alike. So I want to call on them. Y'all have to stand up one at a time. Just when I call your name, when you're all standing, we'll clap and you can sit down. We have a very brief video presentation we want to make. So we'll start with our pre-K, Ashley Graham. She'll stand up, Ashley, and then Lee County Primary, Miss Debbie Rain, and Kitchfinney Primary, Miss Pam Willis, and Lee County Elementary, Holly Black, and Twin Oaks Elementary, Katie Peppers, Lee Middle East, our newest principal, Mr. Rhett Grant, and Lee County Middle West, Mr. Savelle, Transitional Learning Center, Mr. Aaron Edmondson, and Lee County High School 9th grade campus, Ginger Lawrence, and then Lee County High School principal, Dr. Karen Ucott. So these are 10 great people who do a wonderful job, and we appreciate all of you. We are very blessed in that regard. Yes, sir. And so Yolanda, being our public relations person, made a great video. I don't know if y'all had a chance to see it. It's been out on social media, but we're going to cue that up. You ready, Jennifer? We might need it.
Louder?
Yeah. putting that together.
Of course, it was easy.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the talent.
We're definitely proud of and blessed to have the principal that we have in charge of our school. Thank you very much. Something for you there. All right, moving on, we'll see the, we need approval of the minutes for our 3 meetings that we had since the month of September, and the first one we had in the first part of October to set the millage rate. What is the pleasure of the board as it relates to the minutes for these 3 meetings?
Move to accept.
Have a motion from Ms. Lang, is there a second? Second from Ms. Ford, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Passes 5-0. You have the financial statement for the month of August in the package. I hope you've had time to review that. What is the pleasure of the board as it relates to the financial statement?
Move to approve.
Have a motion to approve the August financial statement. Is there a second?
A second.
Second from Ms. Ford. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Passes 5-0. Have a consent agenda, Dr. Miller. Any items you'd like to point out on that?
It's fairly brief, since we had a business meeting, or a call meeting and with a consent agenda before. There's 10 recommendations, 2 resignations, 3 reassignments, and 2 requests to raise funds.
What is the pleasure of the board as it relates to the consent agenda?
Move to approve.
There's a motion from Ms. Lang. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. McDowell. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Passes 5-0. Dr. Miller, your reports for the month.
We'll begin with student health services, and our community and school system numbers for COVID are much improved since the last board meeting, the business meeting. Based on our DPH data, we're at level 1 of the multi-layered mitigation plan that we have in place. As of today, we're aware of 10 cases of COVID in the system, and none of those involve staff. It's all students. And as you can see from our student health report this month, that our nurses have been busy as always. Proud to say that 84% of our students who go to see the school nurse report back to class, and they provide a great service there, and they are able to do the normal things that they do every day, dispensing medication, dealing with children who are not feeling well, scratches and bruises from the playground and things like that. Not as much time spent on COVID here lately. I do want to say that the Lee County Health Department will be here this week for a flu clinic for our staff. They'll travel to each school and offer the staff opportunities to get their flu shot, and we appreciate their partnership. Under SPLOST, we did not make $400,000 this month in collections, but we came very close at $399,229.42. This is great. To date, we're averaging $391,539.94 per month, which is really good, and we hope that'll continue. Plant operations report, Jennifer, can you pull that? There's a PowerPoint that they've prepared for us, and we'll walk through that. They've been busy with all manner of projects. Painting is something that never ends and is ongoing, and you can see in the next slide there's some photos of a hallway at ninth grade campus that was repainted recently. Work continues on modeling of the KPS Media Center. There's a copy of the plans up here on the board desk. Those are not architectural plans, those are just for the design. I was over there last week. They've replaced, there's new carpet, all the furniture's been taken out, and they're very excited about their new media center, and the layout and the functionality is going to be good, and they'll have a desk that the children can actually see over. Right now, if most primary students aren't tall enough to see over the desk, so that'll be a nice addition for them, and we look forward to that. Finally, they have some school safety, some safety things. And then there's a report, go up a little bit, Jennifer, from Aramark. We contract with this company to provide services. One of the nice things that I remember as being a principal in many school districts, the principals not only have to run teaching and learning and the day-to-day operation of the school, but they also have to oversee custodial and maintenance services within their building, and that we contract with Aramark for, and we have for a number of years, and you can see a report by them there. Under transportation, today is Bus Driver Appreciation Day. And we could not have school without the outstanding people in our transportation department. About 2/3 of our students come to school by bus, and they transport children. It's something close to 1 million miles a year. Thousands and thousands of bus rides happen every week. And so to get these students, they're the first people to see them and the last people to see them just about every day. So we're, all the schools are doing different things to appreciate our drivers and bless them for all the things that they do for us. Paving and striping at the bus parking lot are complete, and I encourage everyone to go by and see this. The lights have been installed, and we expect delivery of the metal building soon, and that will be where our bus wash is housed. Now that bus wash won't be in place probably until the new year, but the building is going to come in, we think, next week or this week, and it's going to be erected over a short period of time, but we'll still have the components of the wash that will have to be in place. So that's good news. And technology, we anticipate the installation of the touch panels in January. This is going to really move our classrooms forward. They'll have one that will replace these projector systems, which we have like this in all of our classrooms, and that's going to be exciting for our teachers and students alike. Finally, food service. I thought on the consent agenda we had a former student who we approved as a full-time employee at one of our middle schools. And this is a student who first worked with us when they were still in school on a part-time basis, and she's doing a great job. We're excited to have her a part of our team full-time. It's really exciting when you have your own people come and give back, and we're very blessed with that. I'll also note that all cafeterias scored 100 on their fall health inspection, so that's really good. And if you look at the newspaper and see, not everybody does that, so to get a 100 is a credit to them. Last month, they served 88,602 meals, which is incredible.
Any questions of Dr. Miller on this report? All right, we will skip over the public participation section because we didn't have anyone sign up for that. Moving on to discussion and action items. Request permission to host Camp Invention June the 6th through the 10th of next year at Lee County Elementary School. I believe we've seen that before. What is the pleasure of the board as it relates to the approval of Camp Invention?
I move that we approve.
Have a motion from Ms. Ford. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Lang. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Any opposition? Passes 5-0. I have a request for approval of the local school board governance annual training report, which I believe we passed around and signed. I'll note that Mr. McDowell is a star student with quite a few other training hours than the rest of us, but we all are adequate, let's put it that way. All right. We need to approve that report. What is the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
I have a motion from Ms. Lang. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Fuller. Any discussion?
I just want everybody else's numbers to be up there. With
We'll try to work on that, sir.
I'll try.
All those in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Passes 5-0. Next, we have the actual approval for the executive session policy that we have looked at last month and this month. What is the pleasure of the board as it relates to policy VCBK?
Move to approve.
Have a motion from Ms. Lang, is there a second? That's a second from Mr. McDowell, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Passes 5-0. Dr. Miller, I'll let you talk about the approval of Aramark's contract.
As I said earlier, the Lee County School System contracts with Aramark for facility services. I read on their website, they have something like 1 billion square feet of facilities that they provide for around the country and the world. We've worked with them for a number of years. Their most well-known employee is Mr. Franklin Rash, and they oversee our custodial maintenance services. And we have a memo, you have a memo from Gary Kelly requesting an extension of our contract. This will be a 3-year contract, and by renewing it early, we save 10%.
Cost of living increase 3%.
Yeah, 3%. So that's the reason for moving forward, and we feel like this is the right path for us as a system. And we've had a good partnership with them.
All right, what is the pleasure of the board as it relates to the Aramark contract?
Move to approve.
Have a motion from Ms. Lang, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. McDowell, is there any discussion?
Is it just a 1-year contract here?
No, it's 3 years.
3-year contract. Through June 23. Okay.
And this $337,000 a year. All right, any other questions? All those in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Passes 5-0. I do not see any other items on our list. So with that, I will declare us adjourned. Thank you for being here.